Yo, what's poppin' everybody? It's your boy Modern Fiction here today with another video. One Piece chapter 1019 just dropped and I'll put out my review for that soon. But before that, I wanted to put out a video discussing the reveals and lore we got in 1018. Oda keeps on delivering for real. Alright, so there's a lot of speculation regarding the info dumps we got recently, so let's get into it. We get introduced to another legend, the Sun God Nika, which I think is a proper pronunciation based on the kanji or katakana. Of course, the identity of this figure is still unknown at this point, but I want to go over the different possibilities. Who's given us a lot of exposition these past couple chapters, more so than I think anyone would have thought. Just by going over his own life story, he talks about the Gomu Gomu no Mi and the overall history of the world briefly, talking about Skypian culture, the fishmen, and even slavery. We get the story as Who's Who relates his imprisonment to the slaves of ancient times, and this lack of self-awareness leads to his most ignorant statement, which gets Jinbei heated, quote unquote, "Isn't the history of fishmen the history of slavery?" A blasphemous statement which makes you empathize with Jinbei more, knowing all that he's been through, and makes the conclusion, for now, of the battle all the more sweet. But yeah, diving into what was stated about this legendary figure, the story itself was presented to him and us as the readers kind of like a myth, because it's not definitively known whether or not he existed. So the whole legend for now is basically mythology, but as we know, the world government is prone to hiding and erasing information that makes them look bad, aka the Ancient Kingdom and the Void Century. So how does this all tie together? Starting off with the first possibility in my estimation, the Sun God could be another deity in the verse that predates even Joyboy and the Ancient Kingdom. Let's say maybe 5,000 years ago, when the One Piece world timeline starts, with the current oldest known event being that big tree of knowledge being planted in Hohara. It's stated that in ancient times, those in chains prayed to and believed that a legendary warrior would come and eventually save them. This ties into the concept of freedom, and of course Joyboy himself, as it's stated, he would bring laughter and free them from their suffering. Who knows if he really existed though. The precedent is already there for the Celestial Dragon Tenryubito system through the world government, erasing goated figures throughout history, such as Rocks, Joyboy, etc. We even see a figure of this deity in silhouette form, and he looks a lot like a previous user of the Gomu Gomu no Mi, with his limbs looking really elastic. I even saw a meme with Usopp doing that same pose in Skypiea, because that potential connection is there, assuming he really is a descendant of Noland. But yeah, in my opinion, I think the Sun God Nika is just an alias or another title that Joyboy had. Unless Oda wants to add thousands of years to the lore and go in a different direction, which he easily could, I think that this is the case, as they have a number of similarities. For starters, this legend was said to have brought smiles to the people, aka Joyboy, freeing the slaves and being referred to as the Sun God. Whether Fisher Tiger knew about this legend or not, he created the Sun Pirates and fought oppression against the Celestial Dragon system, and he himself climbed the Red Line and freed a multitude of slaves. And Joyboy is the one who will bring the dawn to the new world, bring the fishmen up to the surface so they can see the sun. That's why he left the letter to Poseidon for the time the promised day comes, destroys the Red Line, destroys Fishman Island, pretty much the overall final theory. Luffy will accomplish what Roger could not and fully inherit Joyboy's legacy. It could just be that, for an example, in Skypian culture, they didn't know him as Joyboy and referred to him as the Sun God Nika. And this adds a whole element to the series as a whole, because all this time we've known that Luffy was chasing and following in Roger's path and dreams, even geographically in terms of destinations. But he's also been following the path of the original Joyboy. We've already seen Luffy in Skypiea free the Skypians from the oppression of their tyrannical god and all. And it was very symbolic when he let Cricket know he found the City of Gold through his shadow in the clouds, which was directly allowed by, once again, the sun. We know the sun and the moons have a lot of prevalence in the One Piece world, especially regarding the prophecy of the dawn that goats like Roger, Whitebeard, and Odin knew about. But yeah, we've seen Luffy pulling Joyboy feats along the way, You could even say him freeing the prisoners from Impel Down is a parallel to the Sun God Nika freeing the slaves, as even Joyboy himself presumably wanted all the races to coexist peacefully, along with sharing the technology of the ancient kingdom. And that's why we've seen with Luffy's Mindstand character, he's befriended every type of race or people he's met along the way. And we'll potentially see all of them in the final war, doesn't matter what tribe. The Minks, the Fishmen, the Skypians, Long Leg, Long Arm, the Giants, the Dwarves, etc. There's potentially a lot of allegories and other literary devices between Luffy and Joyboy within the series that we haven't picked up on. Oda's a genius for real. But yeah, I just want to make a quick video talking about this topic. There's still a lot of loose ends and information we need, that's why it's just speculation for now. Like, what is the connection between the Sun God Nika and Joyboy, if there is one? How are they related to Luffy? What did Fisher Tiger know, if anything? How about King Neptune? He's been around for a while. Even Jinbei himself seemed like he knew something and he just didn't want to tell a guy like who's who, obviously. Narratively fitting in with it being too early for us to know. But we know definitively that the world government is trying to erase the legend from history, as the guard who shared it vanished, presumably getting executed. We don't know if he was in Impel Down or a special prison for government agents or something, but we can logically deduce that this information is of the utmost importance, as we saw how CP0's main concern is dealing with and getting rid of him, and they are a proxy for the world government, more specifically the Celestial Dragons, aka the Gorosei and Imsama, working directly under the world nobles. But yeah, that's it for the video, y'all. Like, subscribe, comment if you rated it. If you enjoyed the video, turn on post notifications. One Piece Chapter 1019 review coming out soon. Modern Fiction, out.